Imagine diving over a coral reef and swimming right past a rock. A second later, that very same rock unfolds 8 arms and jets away in a puff of sand. It was an octopus, and a heartbeat ago, its skin wore the exact rust of the coral and pale gray of the stone. An octopus has no shell, no spines, and no armor. Its body is basically a muscular bag of soft protein swimming through a sea full of hungry mouths. Because the animal is entirely unprotected, absolute invisibility is its only strategy for survival. This strategy is managed by a biological machine just beneath the skin's surface. Millions of microscopic color organs called chromatophores act as individual pixels. Each one is a tiny balloon filled with pigment. When a ring of surrounding muscles pulls, it stretches that balloon flat, spreading an invisible pinprick of ink into a broad patch of color. To handle colors pigment alone cannot match, the octopus stacks 2 more layers underneath. Iridophores contain microscopic plates that bounce light back in shimmering blues and golds, while deeper leucophores act as pure mirrors, scattering back the ambient light of the reef. By layering muscle-controlled pigment over structural shimmer and mirrors, the octopus creates a living screen. It can copy the exact textures and hues of its environment in just a fraction of a second. For this system to work, the octopus would need to perceive the environment it is trying to copy. It would have to look at a reef, recognize the specific colors present, and then command its skin to match them. But the biological hardware suggests the animal is incapable of that. Human eyes use 3 types of light receptors to build a full color spectrum. In contrast, the octopus eye has only 1. A single receptor channel can measure light intensity, bright versus dim, but it has no way to compare wavelengths. To an octopus, the world is rendered entirely in shades of gray. This creates a direct contradiction. The planet's champion of color matching is, by all traditional definitions of vision, totally blind to the colors it perfectly mimics. The octopus resolves this through the bizarre U-shaped design of its pupil. When light passes through a lens, different colors bend at slightly varying angles, an effect called chromatic aberration. Blue light focuses close to the lens, while red light focuses further back. In human eyes, this is an optical flaw that creates blurry edges. The wide U-shaped pupil of the octopus intentionally exaggerates this effect. It spreads encounter-light paths as wide as possible, maximizing the distance between where different colors come into focus. The octopus then moves its lens closer and further from the retina, scanning through those focal depths. Because the colors are separated, the animal can determine which color is present by noticing which specific depth brings the object into sharp focus. The octopus does not need to see color neurologically. It deduces color physically by measuring the focal depth of its own blurry vision. While the eye handles color through physics, the skin operates on an even more radical principle. Researchers discovered this when they isolated a small piece of octopus tissue in a lab, completely separated from the brain. When they shone light onto the severed tissue, the chromatophores expanded. The skin reacted to the light on its own, with no signal from the brain or eyes. The skin is packed with opsins, the same light-catching proteins found in the eyes. When light hits these molecules, they trigger a direct electrical pulse to the adjacent muscles, commanding the pigment balloons to expand. This architecture allows individual patches of skin to sense and respond to light locally. The mechanism bypasses the central nervous system entirely, turning the entire surface of the animal into a distributed sheet of light detectors. The ocean environment makes this process easier. Seawater filters out red and orange wavelengths within a few meters of the surface, leaving a limited palette of blues and greens for the skin to match. Furthermore, the octopus retina is arranged in a strict grid that can read the polarization of light. This grants the animal extreme sensitivity to contrast and texture, providing a layer of data that works independently of color. The brain doesn't need to paint the disguise. The skin tastes the surrounding light at every point of contact, adjusting automatically to match the background. The idea that a colorblind animal cannot master color was based on our own biological bias, rather than the reality of the octopus. We assume vision requires 2 eyes to build one central image in a skull. The octopus uses a multi-pronged approach, where the entire body participates in perception. When an octopus lands on a coral reef, the skin touching the rock senses the local light directly. The animal does not need to see color the way humans do, because it feels color through its whole body. The octopus has essentially invented a different form of sight, one where intelligence and perception are spread out into the arms and the skin. This animal shows us that nature does not have to follow our specific rulebook. An animal can lack the anatomy we use for a task and still find a completely different, highly effective way to master it. Which of these adaptations do you find more striking? The physics of the U-shaped pupil or the skin that senses light on its own? Let me know in the comments. For more deep dives into the hidden blueprints of the natural world, subscribe to the channel. We explore new biological systems every week. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.